Hello, Strategic Leadership class. My name is Jackie, and I'm with Team 4 alongside with my team members Stephen, Dylan, Dara, and Madeline, and we chose to evaluate Microsoft. Microsoft was founded in 1975 by Bill Gates and Paul Allen with the bold vision to put a computer on every desk and in every home. The first major breakthrough came when they licensed MS-DOS to IBM, which became the foundation for Microsoft's dominance in personal computing. Today, Microsoft is one of the world's largest technology companies and known for several products like Windows, Office, Azure, and Xbox. Since its founding in 1975, Microsoft has had just 3 CEOs, each marking a distinct chapter in the company's evolution, which my team members will discuss later. The first was Bill Gates, who co-founded Microsoft and served as CEO from 1975 to 2000. In 2000, Steve Ballmer took over as CEO. However, under Ballmer, Microsoft struggled to keep pace with mobile and cloud innovation. Then, in 2014, Satya Nadella became Microsoft's third CEO. But despite its global reach, the company faced serious leadership challenges. Before 2014, Microsoft's culture had become a major obstacle to innovation and growth. Internally, the company was often described as having a know-it-all mindset. Leaders and teams operated in silos, competing against each other rather than collaborating. This created a rigid, hierarchical environment where risk-taking and creativity were discouraged. Microsoft faced not only cultural challenges but also serious strategic problems. The company was heavily dependent on its legacy products such as Windows and Office, which had dominated the personal computing era. However, as the industry shifted toward mobile devices and cloud computing, Microsoft was slow to adapt. Competitors like Apple, Google, and Amazon were innovating rapidly in smartphones, search, and cloud services, while Microsoft struggled to gain traction in these new markets. Its mobile operating system failed to compete with iOS and Android, and its early cloud offerings lagged behind Amazon Web Services. Another strategic weakness was Microsoft's approach to emerging markets. In countries like China and India, rampant software piracy eroded revenues, and the company lacked strong headquarters and subsidiary relationships to respond effectively. This limited its ability to tailor strategies to local conditions and undermined growth potential. Microsoft's leadership gaps before 2014 were marked by rigidity, lack of collaboration, poor adaptability, and limited empathy. These gaps not only hurt employee morale, but also left the company strategically vulnerable, setting the stage for the culture and leadership transformation that Satya Nadella would later drive. I will now hand it off to my team member Dylan to discuss about Nadella's leadership styles.
When Nadella became CEO in 2014, he brought a fundamentally different leadership philosophy that would transform Microsoft. His first key principle is empathy. He leads with listening, humility, and genuine understanding of both employees and customers. This approach boosted trust, improved teamwork, and created psychological safety where people felt comfortable taking risks. This connects directly to concepts of emotional intelligence and resonant leadership that we've studied in our coursework. His second principle is growth mindset. Nadella encouraged learning, experimentation, and viewing mistakes as opportunities rather than failures. He famously shifted Microsoft from a know-it-all culture to a learn-it-all culture. This aligns with the adaptive leadership principles where leaders help organizations navigate complex changes. The impact on Microsoft has been extraordinary. The culture became much more collaborative, breaking down those internal silos. Innovation really surged with successful products like Azure Cloud Services, Microsoft Teams, and groundbreaking AI integrations. Employee morale, retention, and global alignment all also improved significantly. Under Nadella's leadership, Microsoft has transformed into a global leader in cloud computing and artificial intelligence. As Nadella said himself at the Axel Springer Awards ceremony in October 2020, Empathy is not a soft skill. In fact, it's the hardest skill we learn to relate to the world, to relate to people that matter most to us. This quote really captures his leadership philosophy and why it's been so effective. To fully appreciate Nadella's impact, it's helpful to compare all three of Microsoft's CEOs. Bill Gates was a visionary and a technical leader. He was analytical and detail focused, driving early innovation and building Microsoft's foundation and dominance in personal computing. However, his management style was top down with limited openness to partnerships, which would later limit Microsoft's adaptability. Steve Ballmer represented a transactional and authoritative leadership style. He was energetic, aggressive, and results obsessed. While he had strong sales execution, his approach created internal competition and silos. He focused heavily on metrics and short-term results, which contributed to a weaker innovation culture during his tenure. Now, Nadella exemplifies transformational and servant leadership. He's empathy-focused, collaborative, and promotes a growth mindset. He encouraged creativity and cross-team unity, completely rebuilding Microsoft's culture and strategic direction. Something to note is that each leader was right for their time in some ways. Gates built the empire, Ballmer expanded it, but Nadella is the one who transformed it for the modern era. He recognized the future required not just technological innovation, but cultural evolution. This progression shows how leadership styles must adapt to changing organizational needs and market conditions.
On this next slide, we've developed 3 key recommendations for continued leadership development. And the first recommendation is to strengthen global and cross-functional leadership training. The goal here is to improve collaboration between the headquarters in the US and international teams. This would help reduce the misalignment and avoid the return to siloing where everyone's separate, doing their own work. The leadership interventions we've already seen have boosted employee engagement and collaboration, so we want to continue this. And that the second recommendation we've come up with is to enhance Microsoft's responsible AI and ethics framework. As Microsoft becomes a leader in AI technologies, it must invest in transparent, ethical AI development. This will position Microsoft as a global leader in trustworthy AI while reducing legal and social and regulatory risks. The company's strategic focus on cloud-first AI solutions has been successful so far, but it must be paired with the strong ethical frameworks that must go along with it. And AI-powered coaching can also personalize leadership development through real-time feedback and simulations. Our third and final recommendation we've come up with is to build a Gen Z leadership pipeline. Basically, Microsoft should create rotational programs and mentorship opportunities specifically for early career employees. This would help develop future leaders who are innovative, tech-savvy, and collaborative while maintaining the cultural continuity that Nadella has established so far with Microsoft. This supports the long-term development talent that will help ensure that these changes will outlast any individual leader.
Now we'll look at how to implement these recommendations using a three-phased approach. Phase 1, which covers the first 6 months, focuses on launching adaptive leadership workshops and reverse mentoring pilots for managers. Reverse mentoring is when junior employees mentor senior leaders on emerging technologies and perspectives. This phase includes training, coaching, strategic communications, structural changes, and role modeling by executives to set the tone. Phase 2, from months 6 through 12, would integrate AI ethics training and inclusive scorecards into leadership programs. This phase emphasizes culture programs that reinforce the growth mindset, cross-functional collaboration initiatives, performance management changes, and diversity and inclusion efforts that make the culture truly inclusive. We'd also add modules to onboarding and manager training. Finally, with phase 3, at 12 months and beyond, we'll focus on measurement and continuous improvement. Here we'll deploy analytics dashboards to track leadership effectiveness and innovation outcomes. using metrics like participation rates, manager behavior changes, cross-team projects launched, and adoption of new processes. By using pulse surveys to measure employee perceptions, we can be sure that we're getting real-time feedback on what's working and what needs adjustment. And this phased approach will ensure that the change can be sustained rather than a one-time initiative. This slide really captures the essence of Microsoft's transformation visually. The evolution we've described isn't just theoretical. It's really reflected in everything from Microsoft's brand identity to its market performance to its workplace culture. Microsoft went from being seen as the dinosaur of a PC era to now being recognized as one of the most innovative and forward-thinking companies in technology. That transformation is why Microsoft remains relevant and competitive today.
What's going on, guys? We're having a good time.
The culture has changed so much. Everybody can grow and learn and develop.
When we make products for the world, we have to have perspective of the world.
We get a lot of benefit by having a lot of diverse ideas in the room. We all bring something different to the table, and that's our strength.
Basically, you end up having a team of highly collaborative friends that work together.
That's why you have a tribe, that's why you have a community. And that's just how we make the world a better place.
It's beautiful, it's beautiful.
That's why Microsoft.
Microsoft's leadership transformation really shows just how powerful culture can be for an organization. When Nadella stepped in, he shifted the entire mindset of the company. His focus on empathy, curiosity, and a growth mindset didn't just feel good, it directly revitalized innovation across the company. By reshaping leadership expectations and emphasizing collaboration over internal competition, Microsoft was able to improve teamwork, strategic execution, and overall performance. These cultural and leadership changes weren't just internal, they had a clear impact on the company's results. Microsoft's continued investment in culture, ethical decision-making, and leadership development has helped the company stay competitive in an industry that changes constantly. And the numbers prove that it worked. Microsoft's revenue grew from about $86 billion in 2014 to more than $236 billion in 2025, and the company's market cap passed $3 trillion. Overall, Microsoft's story is a clear example of how leadership, when rooted in empathy, growth, and strong culture, can completely reshape a company's trajectory.